Welcome to the Hanze Talks, Hanze University of Applied Sciences podcast series. We're committed to supporting our current and prospective international students in their study choice, study success, and career development. We're talking with our students, teachers, researchers, alumni, and professionals. Follow us on Spotify and YouTube and visit our website, hanze.nl. Hello everyone, and welcome to the fourth episode of the Hanze Talks podcast series, Hanze Talks Student Life. My name is Anna, I'm a fourth year international communication student, and I'm glad to be your host for today. So in this episode, we will dive into the topic of student life and find out how it feels to be a student at Hanze and how it feels to live in Groningen. And we'll talk about various highlights and expectations and maybe challenges, and of course, share personal experience. And that's why today I'm joined by two wonderful insiders, two international students at Hanze who know so much about the university and the city. So please give a warm welcome to Nicolas and Luna. So hi Nicolas, hi Luna. It's so nice to have you here with us today. Maybe you can introduce yourselves before we start. Luna, why don't you begin?
Sure. First of all, thanks for having us. My name is Luna. I'm a second year international business student. I am 20 years old and I come from Croatia.
Nice. And Nicolas, what about you?
Hello. Yeah, again, thank you for having me. And I'm Nicolas Rivas. I am a Costa Rican first year electrical engineer. And I'm happy to be here.
That's very nice and great that both of you come from such diverse backgrounds. So I think we'll have a lot of different insights today. And well, now that we are all familiar with each other, we can actually move on to our first topic of today. So since we're here to discuss the student life at Hanze and in Groningen, let's talk first about your impressions of the city. And maybe let's first find out, why did you choose Groningen? Maybe what stands out about the city in comparison to your hometowns? Luna, why don't you start?
Well, for me, it was mostly the international experience and the international perspective Groningen offers. Everyone knows that Groningen is full of international students. So with international students, there's a lot of different opinions and perspectives, and it really does shape your perspective and opinions on stuff in a very positive way.
So you would say that this is something that stands out in connection to your hometown about Groningen?
Yes, I come from a very small town, so this was a big experience for me and a big, new thing.
Yeah, and how did it feel for you?
It was exciting, but also I was very nervous when I first got here. As I said, I wasn't used to such, lively city and so many people going around, so it was definitely scary at first, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, better opportunities, that's great. And Nicolas, can you relate to Luna's story? Maybe you had a similar experience?
Yeah, of course. Initially how I chose the city is I consider myself a quite independent person, I would say. And I really wanted a change, so I thought, why not make it a huge change and go across the world, right? And the city just really called me out. It was all over the internet. It said one of the best cities for students in the Netherlands. It's super lively. All the people are very welcoming. I just fell in love with it even before coming here, and I was very amazed actually as I came here as well. I do agree there was a huge change, of course, and it's a bit shocking at times how different some things can be. It's sometimes you don't expect it, but it's a good change, I would say.
Well, that's great to hear. I mean, and nice that you already, even before coming here, you felt like Groningen is really one of the best student cities. So good if you lived up to this expectation here. And actually, I think it's a nice connection to my next question. Because now we talked about, your opinion of Groningen in general. But if we take a look at when you just arrived here, maybe in terms of an expectation versus reality, what was your first impression? What stood out to you in the beginning? Maybe, Nicolas, you can continue.
Yeah, so I didn't have too many expectations, to be honest. I haven't been to the Netherlands previous to coming here, of course. Um, but I guess I kind of did expect a more similar city to what I'm used to. Mainly, like, I've previously visited Spain as well, so I guess I
Yeah.
expected something similar to that. But I was met with a very different reality. Also, the fact of like it being, I guess, a small, relatively small city, but having like so many people living in it and like having so many things to do. It's like it's kind of like the best of both worlds, I would say,
Yeah.
because it's like you feel at home. You feel like it's a bit cozy little environment, but also there's so much to do that you kind of never get bored.
Yeah, I really relate to you with this because I was also quite surprised. I come from a very big city, and then coming to Groningen was definitely, a more cozy feeling. But then indeed there is so much to do, so many different activities. Actually, maybe you can share what was your first activity that you experienced in Groningen when you moved?
Oh yeah, okay. So I think my one of my first activities here, first weeks, I took part of one of the two like student kickoff activity weeks.
It's nice.
It's like it was like Kai Week. It's like a week where they do activities for students. They also like party. They have like movie nights, sports, activities all around. And I felt like it was a super weird but amazing change because it was like the feeling of being able to just walk around at 3 a.m. because I didn't have a bike at the time.
Okay.
Big mistake.
Yeah.
But I just felt safe, right? I felt like even if it was super confusing because, of course, new city, new life, new everything, I felt kind of not threatened by
That's nice.
anything. Yeah.
Yeah, already kind of feeling at home,
Yeah,
from the
yeah, yeah.
beginning. No, that's very cool. And Luna, what did you do when you just arrived?
Well, I didn't do my research like Nicolas did. I came here and everyone was talking about these first few weeks, and I got here 2 days before actual classes started, and I was like,
Okay.
what? What did I miss?
Quite a short deadline.
Yeah. My first memory is IKEA trips with my family. I think every student experiences the same thing. But yeah, taking the bus with 6 huge bags of IKEA things is definitely gonna make you know the city. Yeah.
Yeah, experience everything firsthand
Yeah.
and walking around. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and do you also maybe relate to this feeling of independence and that you're here, in such a different environment and on your own? How did that feel for you?
Yes, for sure. What Nicolas said, like everyone is saying, oh, Groningen is such an international city, student city.
Yeah.
But I don't think you actually realize how international and how student city it is, like how many students there is. So definitely the first thing is, I'm surrounded with people my age and I'm surrounded with people that are going through the same thing. So it was definitely very... it felt like home from the beginning, but also I felt a sense of freedom. I don't know if it was the same for you, but, just staying there and being like, okay, this is my home for the next 4 years. Yeah, I'm going to miss my family and all that, but it was just, this is my own path for now. Yeah.
That's nice. I mean, and was it easy then to connect with internationals if there are so many other students also from so many different backgrounds?
Well, I think it was easy and hard at the same time.
Okay.
So many different students, different cultures, different ways of doing things. It was definitely kind of hard at the beginning to kind of manipulate how is everyone feeling and what they're thinking and do they like me or do they not, But it's definitely much easier now when you kind of get used to it.
No, that's great to hear, of course. And maybe was there anything else that was, maybe unexpected about Groningen or something that surprised you about the culture here?
First thing that really stood out to me was that everyone speaks English fluently. That is something that I was not expecting, and that was something that I'm really glad that it's happening. But also the biking culture, I was ready for it, but I wasn't.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I would also like to add to this biking aspect. It gives, for me personally, I'm not sure if for you as well, but the fact of being able to just go to your friends with a bike instead of like having to depend on having a car or the public transport, which at times is not the best in some countries. I feel like this bike culture just gives you so much more freedom, which I must say sometimes it's not too good when you have to study, but like sometimes too much freedom makes it a bit hard to focus on the studies, but it's just something you have to figure out yourself, I guess.
Yeah, no, but it's interesting with the bike culture because I personally heard so many different things. Indeed, I personally really appreciate that it's so accessible here and you can get everywhere by bike. But in all the weather, oh my God, when it's raining or when it's snowing, I don't know if you had the same kind of frustration with this, that it can be a bit hard.
Yeah, sometimes you wish you had a car, but you get used to it. When you see everyone else doing it without complaining and just going on with their day, you're like, okay, sure, I'll do it as well, I guess.
No, it's also part of the Dutch culture, so, you get used to it in time. And maybe something else as well, some interesting cultural aspects that you want to list, maybe something surprising or fun that you took notice of. I think Luna has some idea already.
Yes. Well, I definitely wasn't expecting to eat chocolate sprinkles on butter on bread for dinner, but it's definitely something that I think a lot of Dutch people can relate with. I don't know, Nicolas, if you experienced that yet.
Yeah,
but
not my favorite dish, but I respect their opinions, I guess.
I can see, a lot of culinary moments here. You adapt, of course, to this part of culture as well.
Yeah.
Quite fun. Yeah, but also what you mentioned, Luna, when we were having this talk, that, adapting to different perspectives and different opinions, that was also kind of maybe not an expectation, but also kind of a challenge. So that kind of makes me think of, what maybe other challenges have you faced when you have just moved to Groningen? And when I'm thinking of this topic, actually, I'm thinking before coming to Groningen, there is already one challenge that happens. And unfortunately, this is the housing situation.
Oh, yeah.
I think, we can all relate that it requires quite some time and planning in advance. Yeah, what was kind of your experience, maybe in a few words?
Well, I live with 5 roommates, and I think that says enough.
Okay.
I started planning like 4 months in advance, so I think that also says enough. And I think the housing is a topic for itself.
Yeah, maybe actually we can do this. What would we do the next podcast discussing this? Yeah, maybe some practical matters. I think that's a topic we can definitely discuss in the future. Yes. But then, getting back to the topic of challenges in general, maybe what other aspects did you find, challenging and maybe feeling a bit more difficult when you just moved here? So maybe, Luna, you can share.
Well, I wouldn't call it a challenge, but definitely something that was way different was the study approach. That is something that I noticed from day one to just coming to class and the professor saying, okay, this is your first project that you're doing. And that was something that I, wasn't used to, like actual hands-on experience and having to think logically instead of, just getting the pages in the book. So I would say that was the biggest, kind of thing that I had to adapt. But yeah.
Yeah, but how did it feel in general to adapt to this different way of thinking? How do you feel now that, you spent quite some time in this study approach?
Well, I think it's also in a way freeing, the same way as Groningen feels, because, there's not just one way of doing things. And I always hated that, there's one way and that's it. So this new approach and having multiple ways to get to the same goal is really, fun, but also, it's very challenging, but I would say very rewarding at the same time. I don't know how Nicolas feels personally, but yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. The hands-on approach just gives you a bit more accomplishment.
Yes.
It just lets you feel that you are actually doing something instead of just, from my experience at least.
Yeah, there's something very rewarding about, getting to the end goal yourself and not, just going by the book. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I think even we can discuss it with our next topic. But actually, if we maybe spend a bit more time on the part with, challenges and adapting and all this process, maybe was there anything else apart from, adapting to studies? And you, Nicolas, you even mentioned that, focusing on studies might be challenging sometimes. Was there anything else that maybe stood out to you, or you think other students might need to take into account?
Yeah. I mean, for me at least, coming from a country so far away, the time zone difference is quite challenging with your family, I mean. And I guess like the communication and missing your family, and of course you have to take this into account. As I said, the focusing on the tasks on your uni life, I guess. For all the parents that are listening and saying, I told you so, that it's like, you have this focus. Okay, yes.
We're fine, we're fine.
But it's manageable. In the end, you can make it happen, so.
Yeah, and I see also, Luna, you were nodding to, missing your family. How do you deal with it? How does it help you?
Thankfully, we have quite a lot of, small breaks at the calendar throughout the year. So I try to go home as much as possible. But yeah, it's definitely a part that, you maybe don't think at the beginning. And even though you have all these breaks and you travel home, it's not the same as, going home every day to your home, and having a cooked meal waiting for you and your mom waiting for you, So that's definitely a part that's kind of a challenge, but also I think if you just surround yourself with the people that feel like home, and Groningen already feels like home, I think it's manageable.
Yeah, that's true.
No, and that's great indeed that even though there are some challenges that you face, it's still possible to deal with it and actually do it very effectively, to have such a cool student life from what you just told me. But actually, I think now would be nice to move on to the studying part of student life, now that we already mentioned it a couple of times. So maybe we can discuss your study experience, but maybe like before we dive in, what made you choose Hanze in general and your specific programs out of the other universities? Maybe Luna, you can share your idea first.
With so many universities available, I was really unsure to where to go, what even country to choose. I think the study approach really kind of drew me in, and also the hands-on experience. And I was also talking to a lot of my friends that are already studying here and at the other university here in Groningen as well.
Okay.
And that kind of, I had a call with one of my best friends now, and she just said, oh, if you like, this, then you should go here. And I remember listening to her and being like, yeah, I don't think that's my cup of tea.
Okay.
So I just went, on researching more, and Hanze actually offers a variety of English taught programs, which was definitely something that I was very excited about. And I'm in international business, and it was very nice to see that they have like an integrated part of both the economics part and everything else. So it was that kind of locked the deal.
Yeah, that's nice. And you also mentioned that you chose it because of the study approach. And what about the study approach at Hanze really stands out to you?
I think, as I mentioned, just the project work and the hands-on experience. At first year we had a kind of challenge that was called the Dragon's Den, where we were given an opportunity to create our own idea, and
a business idea.
A business idea.
Wow.
And we had the opportunity to actually make it happen into the real world. So you're basically, if you're lucky and if you're, hardworking enough, you can start your own company by the first year.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, really, the entrepreneurial attitude is there,
definitely.
From the start. Because we also worked a little bit on our business idea, but since my studies is more, communication based, it's not that in depth, but it's really cool that you can actually implement what you're doing.
Yeah, it's great. Hanze really does give you all the opportunities that you need. And if you're ready to take them, then you're going to get far.
Yeah, that's great. And I see Nicolas already.
Yeah.
You're nodding. So do you agree with Luna? Did you have a similar view?
Yeah, I mean, going back to why I chose Hanze, I guess I was already here in the city. I started actually my university path in a more research-based university. But as I talked with some of my friends, some of my just colleagues here, I guess,
Yeah.
that were studying in Hanze, I found that their approach, as Luna said, was more what I wanted, more what fit my idea of a university, right?
And what was your idea? Kind of what did you want in your professional development?
Yeah, for example, I really wanted hands-on. I had this expectation of university of being kind of throwing yourself into projects and actually making a change, I guess. And by talking with at the time second and third years of my wanted career, which is electrical engineering, of course.
Yeah.
I saw that even in the first year they started doing some projects for companies and all of this, which to me just sounded like the change I needed.
The dream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually right now I'm doing the first year project for a company. Actually, we're building a toy that's supposed to encourage people with intellectual disabilities to exercise.
Wow.
And it's for an actual company that, I mean, I'm not guaranteeing that they'll use my product, but it's also
but
fun to...
It's still already so much experience, and you make a difference already in the professional world. So you do something that can be helpful. I can imagine that feels quite rewarding, probably.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm also thinking that probably, when you work in such projects and it's such a collaborative atmosphere, probably the relationship between teachers and students can also be different. How did you experience this, Luna?
Well, I talked about the support from, Hanze and the professors in general, but something that was also, I wouldn't say a challenge, but definitely something different was that there's no, I'm a student and you're a teacher and that's it, a relationship. It's more, kind of the lines are blurry, I would say. And it's definitely more of a, I wouldn't say friendlier base, but yeah, we're definitely, much closer than what I was used to as, talking to a professor and, being able to call them by their first name, for example.
Yeah.
And, stuff like that really makes a difference when you either have a problem or a challenge you're facing. It's much easier to reach out and say, okay, this is what I'm struggling with, when you know that, you kind of have a friend in that person as well.
Yeah, for sure. Actually, in the Hanze, actually they give us so many tools, like the makerspace, and connecting to this kind of friendly connection to the professors. I am in a class with a professor that's super wise and knows everything. And then in the makerspace, which is where they give us tools to kind of make our projects, he just came up to me and we started talking about our current projects, and we kind of collaborated in something because our interests matched. So it was fun to see that even professors that to you just sound way out of your reach can actually work with you, and it's a kind of friendly.
Nice. Feels like indeed you are more at the center of the process, and they are there to kind of support you and guide you in your experience. But actually, you also were mentioning that before coming here, you talked a lot to current students. So maybe actually you have an advice, maybe in short, what would you advise students who are just looking into coming to study at Hanze? What should they do? What could help them to choose a program? So this kind of talk with students can already happen with them, maybe?
Yeah.
Maybe Luna, I can see you nodding. You already have an idea.
Well, I think Hanze has a great support system when it comes to that as well. If we have available links and emails on our website that, if you say what you're interested in, we can match you with the someone that's currently there, a student, and you can also reach out to us on social media. We have the Hanze Instagram page, Facebook page. That's also possible. And then we also made an app that's called Goin that also, kind of connects students. So it's definitely, there's a lot of opportunities. But I think the best tip is to really look into if you're looking for a research-based university or a project-based one, and that makes a world of difference.
Yeah, I can see, Nicolas, you're also kind of agreeing.
I mean, my, I guess, main recommendation for students planning on committing to a university is actually don't be scared of this commitment, because you're not signing a life deal. Like, you don't have to finish everything with your first option, even if, for example, what I did, you can change after the first year if you feel like the choices are different now, right? It's not a life binding kind of.
Yeah. So nice. I mean, hear it loud and clear. Talk to students and also be open to different options. That's very good advice. Thank you. And actually, now that we've discussed extensively, your choices and what you're doing in the study program, let's maybe talk about what you can do on the side. Maybe there are some extracurricular activities that you can choose to do. So maybe Luna, what are you doing next to your studies?
A lot. I'm actually part of the honors program as of this year. And I'm also a part of the social media team, so everyone can see me on Instagram.
Wow, that's quite exciting.
Yeah, so I'm a part of that right now, and then I also go to the gym, but there's a lot of opportunities for students, so I guarantee no one will be bored here.
Yeah, and actually you mentioned the honors program. Can you maybe tell a bit more about it? What is it about? What do you do in the honors?
Well, it's basically a program for students that want more and want a bigger challenge, and I can definitely tell that it's a big challenge.
Okay.
Where it's there's different stuff every year that they're doing, but this year we're actually doing, one of our projects is about building sustainable and affordable housing for people in Ghana.
Okay.
Because and we're working with students there and professors there and actual developers. So it's a huge thing. And we're working also on our personal and professional goals. So it's really about personal development, which is still hard for me to grasp, coming from a different ways of doing things. But yeah, it's very fun and it's very, again, challenging, but also very rewarding.
Yeah, so I can see indeed like an additional project on the side.
Yeah.
And Nicolas, do you also have any additional projects?
Yeah. Like, this is actually one of the things I like the most about this university, that they kind of give you a lot of tools to grow by yourself. So like, there's so many opportunities. For example, I am currently in a team that is developing and like building an electric car, like an electric racing car.
That's amazing.
Shout out to the team, actually.
Nice.
It's a team where like they accept electrical engineers, mechanicals, but also like communication students, marketing, and all of this. So it's like quite a broad team with many opportunities for everyone. They're actually also doing like machine learning and artificial intelligence implementations here and there. So yeah, I think one of the biggest like cherry on top, I guess, is the how many options you have here. Yeah. Of course, the professors will not take you by the hand. It's something that you have to do yourself, right?
Yeah.
It's something that you have to reach out for. But there's so many options. For example, when you walk around the engineering building, there's like 70,000 or whatever number of posters of just like random teams that you can work for that sounds super exciting. I even saw some like rover of like space rover, robotic arm building thing.
That's already sci-fi close. Yeah. No, but it's interesting. It connects to what you both mentioned about, the freedom of choice, and that's your experience here. But I wonder also, do you feel still supported? Because I can imagine with so many options, it might be hard to choose. I see, Luna, you may want to react.
Yeah, Nicolas, as Nicolas said, like they will not give you, they will not take your hand and lead you to these opportunities, but they're definitely there, and they will definitely be there when you get stuck and you need support. So that's something that I think everyone is really grateful for. That Hanze has a great support system with the professors, with faculty, with everyone else. It's really great.
And for example, the racing team that I'm in, it actually gives me the credits for like the electives that I would have to take for my program.
Wow, that's great.
So it's like a good connection between like university and like extra things that you can do. Like you can just talk to your mentors and they'll say like, oh yeah, just we'll count this, because it's a lot of hours as well. So might as well just count it as electives, because it's like improving my electrical skills, I guess.
Yeah, but that's amazing. Then everything that you do here works for your academic development, but also professional development. That's amazing. And actually, now that I mentioned professional development, maybe, we can fantasize a bit and look more into the future with this. So do you have already any plans for the remainder of your studies? Maybe, Nicolas, since you were talking about development, what do you plan to do?
I mean, again, I am a first-year student, so there's quite a long road in front of me. But I do feel like the idea of it is not as daunting, since I have it so like clearly put out in front of me. Like, for example, we have a engineering the future kind of talk, in which some companies will come and talk about their like possibilities for us to intern with them, or even the same formula team that I'm keep talking about. I can do my internship there. There's so many options.
Yeah, and it's nice already from the beginning of your studies. You can kind of map out what you'd like to do. And maybe, Luna, you're a bit further in your studies. Do you have a different perspective on this?
Well, I'm definitely not building robots. I'm not going to space yet, but yet. But I do have some plans. Next year is my study abroad and internship year. Okay. So I'm hoping that I will be in Australia this time for my internship. And also I was hoping for a German-speaking country for my study abroad, so I can kind of work on my German a little bit.
Oh, that's great.
And also this summer, as I was talking about the Ghana project, some of us said, oh, well, can we actually go there and try to make it work? And they said yes. So now we're actually going to be going there, hopefully, and, seeing the project come to life.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah. I mean, indeed, so many international opportunities here at Hanze. I mean, for me as well, I felt very surprised and also very excited with the choices that we had, because I mean, last year it was also like for you, I had an opportunity to do my internship and also to do a study abroad, and we had more than 100 university options, I think. I ended up choosing Paris. I wanted also to learn learn a bit better in terms of French language and French culture. So yeah, quite fun ideas.
Yeah.
Well, I think actually maybe that would be a perfect note with this discussion of the future to round off our talk for today. So indeed, once again, thank you so much, Nicolas and Luna, for sharing your experience, for sharing also some tips and tricks and some things that stood out to you about Groningen and your studies. And of course, I'd like to wish you the best of luck with your future projects. They sound all very exciting. And of course, thank you very much to our viewers and to our listeners for joining the 4th episode of Hanze Talks Student Life. And well, if this is your first time watching, you can find all the other episodes on our YouTube channel and on Spotify. And also don't forget to connect with us on Instagram and TikTok to see many more interesting tips and cool information about Hanze and about our campus, about Groningen, to learn more about the city and the university. And of course, as Luna already mentioned today, don't hesitate to reach out to us in social media, online, by email. We're always there as the international student team to help you and answer your questions. So once again, thank you so much, and I hope you enjoyed the episode. See you in the next one.